Today in Studio 4, Why I Love Pinot, we embark on an intriguing wine journey with a former American finance executive turned expert on Burgundy and all it entails. Chasing the grape in France and beyond is his passion. Wine critic Alan Meadows is known as the Burg Hound, and for good reason. And the editor-in-chief of BC Business Magazine introduces us to the new issue, which includes a $200 billion man, a former premier who's gone back to school, and a successful developer or two. There is even a section on this fall's best fashion looks and how to tie a bow tie. And to begin the hour, in our ongoing Meet the Mayor series, we welcome Mayor Greg Moore, a lifelong resident of Port Coquitlam. He has over 10 years of experience in municipal government and many urban issues on his mind. Next. Greg Moore was elected as Port Coquitlam's 15th mayor in 2008. He's a former city councillor who took a liking to municipal politics. He is the chair of the Metro Vancouver Waste Management Committee and a director on the Metro Vancouver Board. And of course, he sits on other volunteer boards. And it is my pleasure to welcome Mayor Greg Moore to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Thanks for having me.
To tell us more about Moore.
Or more about Port Coquitlam anyways.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
That too. So who called you or what called you to public service?
You know, I worked for the city for 10 years and then I went off and did an MBA and went out to the private sector, and there was just something missing in life, something about giving back to a community. So a couple of years into that, there was an opportunity to run for city council, and I decided to run for city. Had no clue about politics, never been, you know, class president or anything like that. Jumped in with 2 feet and have loved it and decided to run for mayor.
No politicians in the family?
No, my dad was a school teacher in Port Coquitlam, so you know we have good roots in the community. But yeah,
I read lifelong resident of Port Coquitlam, so you knew something about Port Coquitlam, just not a lot about politics. Early lessons in the chair, in the mayor's chair. I know city council lessons are many, but in the mayor's chair, what didn't you know about being mayor of a city, even a small city?
Well, we're 60,000 people,
well,
so
true.
on the context of British Columbia, it's a fairly large city, but in the context of Metro, it's in the middle somewhere. I don't know, you know what, I love the job. I think maybe I was surprised at how much I was going to enjoy it and how much opportunity there is as mayor, because you know, you obviously have to look after the fundamentals of running a city and you know, make sure taps turn on and toilets flush and all that sort of not very sexy stuff, but you also get to go out there and look at how do we address homelessness and how do we create a greener organization and community, and so how do we leverage that? And you know, I think I can have the ability with my job to be able to go out and reach further as well. So that's the exciting part for me.
Well, and I'm sure there are days when you say, I've got an MBA and I'm concerned about somebody's tree or somebody's tap. I don't know about that. But as you say, every day is a different day in the mayor's chair, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny getting those emails about barking dogs and that sort of thing. But you know what, one of the things I truly believe, and even when we make decisions that people don't agree with, is giving them a call and phoning them and say, hey, you know what, this is what's going on, or explaining why we have a dog barking bylaw, or why we made a decision about our solid waste system, or those sort of things. And
you made many of those decisions, I understand. Tell me about the garbage situation in Port Coquitlam. You have a pay pickup situation, do you not? Well, you pick up the bin and you have to pay a certain amount if the bin's big or small?
Yeah, well, we've done lots of things in Port Coquitlam. We're probably leading British Columbia, if not most of Canada, on our diversion rate. And what that means is diverting as much of our garbage out of landfills or waste to energy. So this year to date, we're at 63% of all of the garbage that goes to the curb does not go to a landfill. So it goes to recycling, and we're the first community to bring in curbside kitchen scrap pickup.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so everything that you produce in your kitchen can go into a green bin, with the exception of plastic, glass, and tin.
So it's a compost of sorts.
Yeah, but you don't have to do it in your backyard. We take it and we compost and create it into topsoil.
And then the rats don't come and the raccoons and all of that. But so you take it to a big compost place, or what?
We take it to a regional facility that takes in yard waste and all that sort of organic waste, and 99% of what goes into that comes out as topsoil. So you're actually creating a product at the end of the day out of your garbage.
Sure. Why those Port Coquitlam parks are so green.
There you go. But we also went to bi-weekly solid waste pickup. So we only pick up garbage every second week now.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was one that was not well received by the community when we first announced that we were going to do it. But now that we've been doing it for 8 months, it's well embraced, and that's why we got to 63% diversion. The national average is 22%.
Yes, that's a good stat.
So to show where we're at in the comparison.
So pay as you throw kind of thing.
Well, and that's what we're introducing now. So we give our residents 3 garbage bins: a black one, a blue one, and a green one. Obviously, blue is recycling, green is kitchen and yards, and black is garbage. Based on the size of the bin that you get will be based on how much you pay. So if you have to get a really large black bin, because that's really expensive for us as a city to get rid of, you're going to pay a lot more. But if you need a larger green or a larger blue and a small black, you'll actually pay less. So we're trying to give financial incentives, not just it's the right thing to do, it's good for the environment. That should be enough of an argument, but on top of that, we want to give a financial incentive.
Well, the point is, it makes you think about what you throw away.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, with the amount that you can recycle and now that everything can go in the green can, there's really not that goes into a black garbage can. So, you know, I know our family of 3, we're lucky if we have to put the garbage can out once a month.
Where does garbage incineration stand, the debate? I know it passed. What does it mean to Port Coquitlam or the other municipalities? Where are we in it?
So as it's a Metro Vancouver issue, because Metro Vancouver deals with the residuals, so how to get rid of all the garbage.
Right.
Municipalities deal with how to pick it up from the curb.
Right.
So Metro Vancouver already has a waste energy facility, an incinerator in Burnaby. It burns about 300,000 tons of garbage a year. It's been operating for 20 years, very successfully, creating heat and electricity. So the board decided that that was the way to go, is to get rid of landfills and to move into more waste to energy. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean incineration. It could mean other technologies that are out there, but it's with the Minister of Environment right now.
Okay.
When we get it back from him, we'll put together an RFP process. We'll go out to the market. We'll let the market bid on what we're looking for.
And waste to energy makes so much sense.
It does. When you can,
doesn't it?
Well, when you can leverage the district heat out of it, so you can start heating some of your institutions, colleges or hospitals, and they can turn off their oil or natural gas, and then you can create electricity from it as well. And the technology has evolved so much over the last 20 years, so that the amount of scrubbing that goes on to clean the air out before it leaves is just phenomenal. And it, you know, we put in the plan that we'll beat any health standards across the world. So we're really committed to that part of it.
I know you studied urban geography.
I did.
Got your MBA.
Yeah.
After that, obviously.
Yeah.
So urban geography was your passion. When you worked at City Hall or for the city, what were you doing? Planning?
Well, I was a youth worker for 5 years while I was going through university, and then I was a city planner for 5 years at the city.
And as you look at Port Coquitlam itself, density, live, work, play areas, what's missing? Or what isn't missing?
Actually, Port Coquitlam is a phenomenal example from urban planning perspective. We have a downtown core. We have density around the downtown core. We have another commercial area. We have a clear industrial zone. We have heavy industrial. We have multifamily, and then we go out to single-family residential, and we have agriculture, all properly located around the community within the natural environment. So, you know, we need to increase our density to get to the regional population growth. We need to, one of the things that we need to work on is increasing the number of jobs that we have in our community so people can live and work in the same community. Because we are somewhat a bedroom community, about 80%, 82% of our population leaves Port Coquitlam every day to go to work.
80%?
Yeah, not of our working population leaves our community every day. So if we can reduce that, that helps with traffic, helps with live work. You know, if you're living 5 minutes from home, you're a lot happier. Get home that much quicker, all those sort of things.
When you take the commute out of your life, it's a good day.
Yeah.
Rapid transit serve you well, bus-wise, that kind of thing?
Well, we're fighting for the Evergreen line to come to the Tri-Cities, and we're hoping that we've got some TransLink meetings coming up soon that we'll have that option to at least vote on the Evergreen line coming to the Tri-Cities. We have okay bus service. I take the bus. I took the transit to get here today. And because I think, you know, if you're in a position and you're going to be debating it and choosing its future, you should participate in it. So I've started to take the bus and the community shuttles, and they work fairly good for a suburban community. They could be better for sure, but generally speaking, they work pretty good.
Bike lane issues in Port Coquitlam?
We're just bringing in bike lanes. I also bike around the community because it's faster than taking transit. And I've always biked, and, you know, most of our community is flat, and, you know, we talk about the commute. That's one of the best things that you can have is when you ride your bike to work or walk to work. It's just nothing better. So our traffic is manageable to share with bikes,
Sure.
and we're going to bring in more dedicated lanes, but overall it's not like it's downtown Vancouver or something like
Right.
that. So,
well, as you know, when you ride a bike, it looks flat till you get on the bike and you think, you know what I mean? When you're driving your car, you think, well, this is fairly flat. Then you're on the bike, you say, I'm going up a hill here.
Yeah. Or a headwind hits you.
Or a headwind, that
But I got
too.
an electric bike,
Or
which is really cool. Electrical assist, so I still have to pedal, but it helps me along because, I wear a suit when I ride my bike, and it can get kind of uncomfortable if it's the middle of August and you're going up a slight hill.
No,
in
for
a
sure.
suit,
Well,
so.
at least you don't have to wear high heels.
That's true.
That's good. So as a businessman yourself, budget in the city, where are you under budgeted in Port Coquitlam? You need money for what? Cops, fire?
We actually went through a really phenomenal exercise last year of looking at all of our core. We did a core service reviews because last year was a tough budget year for everyone. So we looked at everything, and we made little cuts here and there and all over the place. We didn't have to cut any staff, but we were able to take off about $700,000 in operating out of our budget last year. So that helps us every year going forward. Where we're short, though, well, we always look to more police, and we always look to more fire and core services. But one of the things that we're starting to do is plan for the future. So we're putting money away now so that when, it's called the infrastructure gap, so that in 20 and 30 years, when we have to start replacing all the pipes that are in the ground, there's actually a bank account in there for future governments so that they don't have to go into debt to pay for that infrastructure that's going to need to be replaced.
Well, I was amazed to read that the councillors and the mayor hadn't had a pay raise for I don't know how many years, but a fairly low-paying position, especially if it's your job. So you raised the pay.
We did, and we tried to do it as equitable as possible. And we got obviously negative feedback about it, but we got a lot of. Actually, I probably got more email saying "way to go" than I did negative. And what we did is we looked at 2 municipalities larger than us and 2 smaller than us, and we'll take the average. Whatever their stipend is, we'll take the average of that. And it was a large percentage for sure. Because we hadn't actually adjusted the rate of pay for about 15 years. And so that was it was unfortunate, it was a tough decision, but I think if we want to treat our politicians fairly, like we do our staff, then we need to pay them a fair rate.
I agree. Attract the best and the brightest, and a fair rate makes sense to me because you're not going to get rich being the mayor, as you know.